Paul was just telling me a great story about a thing he can't show me.
I hate everything. I just, why even bother?
He's going to show me something you can only do with an NPU. But
Yep. But I guess you can't do it through Google Meet. Oh, well. What are you going to do? I don't know.
continue on with my normal life that...
Yeah.
Well, how's day 2 treating you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm kind of racing to catch up here. I will say, I mean, it's kind of sad. Like you want to confirm everything and whatever, but I very early on, I was like, you don't buy this stuff for the AI stuff. You buy it for the, efficiency and uptime and all that, And yeah, like it plays games, but not great. Well, I mean, honestly, I spent a bunch of time playing that Doom 2016 game yesterday. It looked beautiful, like really good, super high quality, super performance, excellent. But man, it took me a couple hours almost to get it there, So yeah, I mean, sometimes the game stuff works, but you don't buy a laptop like this for games, obviously. App compatibility has been fantastic for the most part, except for Drive, Google Drive. Hardware compatibility, 100% for me. I mean, in the limited scope of what I have here. But the AI stuff, which I'll read, that will go up today. The inbox AI stuff is like, I mean, it's borderline ridiculous. It's almost like they had no time to prep. It's not quite accurate, but that's what it feels like. And there's really not much, like the live captions with live translations. Honestly, awesome, right? I mean, live captions is one of the best, probably, not well-known Windows features, but it only translates into English, which works fine for me. I only speak English, but I tested it against like a Spanish language YouTube site or channel and just, the basic Spanish I know. It seemed like it was working fine, but it's not, that stuff's not really transformative. I think the big stuff for AI will come later with apps, right? Third-party apps.
Well,
So in the end, you have this thing that's like, it's the Windows on ARM thing. All like it's always been in a way better, but that level of uncertainty that I think will throw a lot of people off, even though it probably works fine for most things. But that's always the trick, because I mean, I hear this very vocally from people. Like there's like this one thing that has to work for everybody. It seems like,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of Windows in a nutshell.
Yeah, but it's tricky because normally, I mean, there are exceptions to this, but I mean, x86, x64, you don't think about it, right? And this throws in a little bit of a wrench. It's kind of like when NT4 was around, they had like a hardware compatibility list, and they hadn't merged the driver models yet between like 9X and NT, right? So I literally used to go to the Best Buy with a printout of that section of the HAL. So if I wanted like a network card or a sound card, I had to, look at the stuff in the store and be like, okay, this one's going to work, and that's a tough place to be. There's also, I haven't written about this, but like, well, I guess I sort of wrote around it. It's hard to explain, but you're not always, I mean, not that it matters, I guess, but you don't always know you're getting the ARM version of something, right? So, for example, Opera has an announcement today about a new version of their browser coming, and you can get in the developer thing and get it. So I did that on this computer. I downloaded the exe. I was paying attention, see if there's any choose here for ARM or do other types of downloads, or what, does the exe show nothing, So I installed it, right? And then I looked at it in Task Manager, and it's an ARM64 app, but I feel like we're still at the point where you need to tell people that, like you need, well, again, if it's x64, it's just going to work, but I think it's reassuring to know you're getting the best possible experience. So
yeah, you're right. There is no easy way.
It's hard to explain. Like Visual Studio was like this. A bunch of apps. Every once in a while, you'll see you'll do the download and it will actually say ARM in the file name for the setup app.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, but you can go and look, but I mean, what what is this? Like, I need another reason to run Task Manager all the time. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
I was just trying to
a
think. 'Cause
strange problem.
Stardock, we support ARM for
Hmm.
a couple of our apps, and it depending on which one you're running, it depends on how it is. But like the two bigger apps, like Start 11, just
Right.
automatically installs the ARM version if it detects you're on the device.
Okay. Which is
So
the right
there's
way to do it.
which,
Because
which
actually, I would imagine you couldn't do it otherwise. It's because of all the shell integration.
correct.
You couldn't do an x64 on that one, I think. Well, tell me otherwise. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
really
don't
sure.
know.
That's
I
how
don't.
I view it.
We never tried it, because
Yeah.
to your kind of what you just hit on, we don't really want to depend on an emulation layer for something that's tinkering under the hood, right? That just doesn't feel like that's going to be a good experience.
Right.
However, Multiplicity does
Mhm.
run in emulation, but it doesn't.
Okay.
But that's just an RDP endpoint, so that's much. In the next version we
Yeah.
have in the oven, that's will be ARM native.
Right.
But yeah, but what I'm trying to answer, I wonder if you went into Start and About, it would show. I'm trying to think to answer your question, like how would somebody know that they're running Start 11 v2 in an ARM version on their device?
Yeah, like a normal mainstream user, like our
Yeah,
wives or whatever, wouldn't care, don't need to know. It just is like
I'd have,
they just kind of apps work and they don't think about it. But
yeah,
for technical people, you want to make sure you've
yeah.
got the
I no,
right,
no, I
which
get
is
it. I
like,
think it's a pretty valid question, especially like you're like, hey, I'm running Infinity Photo or whatever. It's like you want to make sure.
even 64-bit versus 32-bit
Yeah,
on the right. I mean, like back in the day, like even today, I could be wrong about this one too, but it was at some point Office not ARM, but just regular Office, right? They added like a 64-bit download, but the 32-bit was always the default because all of the add-ins for Office are written to that version, right? So there were compatibility issues in the beginning. You may want 64-bit because of Excel or whatever it might be, but anyway, there's a transition period, and that's what I think we see here with ARM, where you kind of have to
yeah.
be a little more explicit about it, I think.
So, all right.
Uncertainty.
Yep. Wow.
Anyone get sued by the EU today? Or are we
I don't
going
think
to
so.
take
I
a
was
day
just
off?
thinking that Google has avoided the headlines so far.
It seems like this is going to be antitrust week over in Europe.
Yeah. Although Google did schedule a Pixel event that,
Yeah, like way early too, which is kind of
like,
interesting.
like 7 weeks out. Something
Yeah, I
like
think they're. It looks like they're consolidating their Fold and Pixel, phone launches into one. So maybe they're kind of. I don't know. Maybe it's good for them to get out ahead of Apple a little bit.
that. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to be polite. I don't know. I don't know
people
what
who
they're
are going to
doing.
buy an iPhone have already, like, I'm in this
Mhm.
camp, right? The next phone I will buy will be an iPhone. It doesn't matter. Like,
Right.
That's just what it is. And
Yep. And that thing's
people
going
who are
to
going to
come
buy
with
a
a lot of
Pixel
RAM.
are going to buy a Pixel. People who are going to buy the next Samsung Galaxy, whatever S20, whatever number they're on, that's what they're going to buy.
Depending on price and camera capabilities, I mean, I would consider like a Fold 2, maybe. But I mean, I'm gonna buy a Pixel and an iPhone, I would imagine this year. Most likely. I don't know.
Yeah, not me.
I like to suffer, Brett. You're too stable.
Although I will tell you, and
Oh, stable.
I don't
Stable.
too stable.
I can let me see.
Uh,
No, look at my. No, look at my. You probably can't even see it. It's like half of those icons are just white because I'm running the beta, and sometimes it just decides it doesn't like icons. See, they're like just those. Like, have you ever ran what's that thing called? Test flight. Sometimes you get the non-icon iOS icon. It's just a grid on like a light gray grid on white. Like sometimes it just does this. My icons at the bottom are like in dark mode, even though the rest of it is not. I'm gonna reboot it anyway. It's it's been that kind of experience here. No, I can't even. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Anyway, too stable or stable enough? Hard to say.
Yeah, we're all a little unstable in our own unique ways. Some more than others.
Why did you look at me when you said that?
It's just reaction. Nothing personal, but mostly personal.